Shields up, Paladins, and welcome to a For Honor Hero Guide. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'll be talking to you all about the Nuxia and how I like to use this particular character. The Nuxia is one of the assassin characters within the Wulan faction. She has a hard difficulty rating, as well as she has a unique ability to trap enemies, as well as she is a fast attacker. Her base stats are her health is set to 120 and her stamina is set to 120 as well. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right on over to her feats. Her tier 1 feats are Deadly Duet, which is a passive ability. You deal more damage in close quarter combat against an enemy who is alone. Bounty Hunter, which is a passive ability. You gain health and stamina when you kill another hero. And Rush, which is triggered to gain movement speed for a short duration. Her tier 2 feats are Caltrops, which is you drop Caltrops that deal damage to moving enemies and allies in the targeted area. Revenge Attacks, which is a passive ability. Attacks when locked on fill the revenge meter. And Thick Blood, which is a passive ability. If hit with bleed, you gain protection from bleed for 3 seconds. Her tier 3 feats are Threat of Fate, which is bind an enemy. Bound enemy can't run, sprint, or roll. Bind is broken over a time or by distancing yourself. Slip Through, which is a passive ability. Dodge raises his attack for a short duration. And Takedown, which throws make enemies fall to the ground. Her tier 4 feats are Infection, deal damage increasing over time to an enemy and their nearby allies as long as they remain nearby. Regenerate, which is a passive ability. Regenerate your health when you are out of combat. And Berserker, which is raise sprint speed and defense greatly. It is non-stackable. So she has a lot of good feats that you can use. Really, on her tier 1 and tier 3 is really, it really comes down to you and what you like to play. Since I like to play a lot of Breach and Dominion, really for me to use Deadly Duet, there's really not a time that hardly anybody is alone. There might be that one occasion that you might get a 1v1, but as soon as one of your partners comes in, or one of your teammates or one of their teammates come in, boom, it's instantly gone. So in this particular case, for her tier 1, I prefer Bounty Hunter, just because I play more Dominion and Breach. Just because that gives me extra health, extra stamina whenever I kill another hero. That keeps me in the game longer. If you play a lot of 2v2s or even a 1v1, then sure, Deadly Duet would be the better option there. Well, and not 1v1 because there's no feats. But for her tier 2 feats, I prefer Caltrops. Now, even though that this hurts allies, what you can really do with this, and what I like to do with this, specifically on Breach, is either I'll put this down on the healing zone, where yes, it's hurting everybody, but hopefully it hurts the enemy team more, to get them off of the healing just for a second, so maybe you have a better chance of actually getting onto it and heal and do what you need to do. Or what I really like to do is that I'll put these things down in front of the pikemen that are running to the realm. The reason why I do that is that yes, it does not kill them fully. It gets them pretty daggone low though, so that means that anyone can run up and actually kill them and do some decent damage to them. On top of that, there's a lot of times that the enemy team will like to back up or continuously keep backing up into their minions, letting their minions push forward while they stay in the back. well, that's also now doing damage to them as well. Revenge attacks, that's really, revenge is, as I've said in other videos, is not really my cup of tea. As soon as you pop revenge, everyone rolls away, just sits there and looks at you. So there's really no point in that. Thick blood, that's really up to you. If you know that you're going to be dealing with some peacekeepers, maybe a new Naboshi, or even someone that can apply bleed, for that matter, a shaman for that case, then definitely go ahead, pop thick blood, because thick blood is definitely great to have, but it's a hit or miss, because there's 9 out of 10 times there's not really a lot of people nowadays that actually cause bleed, and the characters that do are very hardly played. I don't see a lot. I see mostly more shamans than anything anymore. And for the ones that I do, they have their own kit. So really, in my personal opinion, Caltrops is the way to go for her tier 2. Her tier 3, she's got 2 that are very, very good in my personal opinion. Takedown is not one of those. Throws make enemies fall to the ground. Yeah, that's great and all. Maybe if you got a Jormungandr on your team, sure, he can go ahead and throw them down. Maybe even a Centurion, so they can get the jump attack on them. That's all well and good. Threat of Fate, which is binded enemy. Bound enemies can't run, sprint, or roll. So pretty much with that, I really like to use that against somebody that is weak, that started the fight with me, then wants to run away, try to get to the healing, or even someone that has the banner while playing Breach or Tribute or whatever you're playing. In this particular case, as you all know, I like to play Breach, so Threat of Fate is good to use on the guy with the banner. That means that now he's even slower than as he was before, because now he can't run. So now he's just sitting there walking with the banner until you get up there. 9 out of 10 times, he'll get ganked, boom, now you got the banner for yourself, so you GG there. The other one that you can use, which is Slip Through. Now the Nuxia requires, almost a lot of her abilities require you to do some type of dodge. One, because she's an assassin, she's got a reflex guard, so you can get some deflex on her. That's good to kind of keep in mind whenever you're going to get the riposte on the deflex. That does carry through. Even if you're not going for a deflect, maybe someone is not paying attention to you, even a dodge forward or even the jump attack, that does count for a slip through. So you are getting that extra damage for that short duration, which I want to say is probably about 3 seconds. But 3 seconds is more than enough to turn the tide of the battle that what you're facing. In this particular case, I like using a little bit more of Slip Through more than Threat of Fate. Sure, Threat of Fate is good, as I said, for a couple occasions, but 9 out of 10 times for a constant feat that's always there, I would go with Slip Through. And finally, for her tier 4, she really, in my opinion, has one good feat for her tier 4, which is Infection. This particular ability that she has hurts. If people are not paying attention to you and you decide to use this on the commander at the end of Breach, or use this on even minions for that matter, kind of throw it on minions, boom, you can, or pikemen for that matter, someone that is not paying attention to, or a team that is not paying attention to you, and that feat can really do some damage. I believe in total, if you're doing damage to the actual person, I believe that circle, it racks up to be 78 or 75 damage in total. Overall, that is remarkable. That you're doing about 75 points of health to the enemy team without even having to touch them. They're just right there in the center. because everyone knows right at the end of Breach, everyone's going to be all gung-ho and to ride up on, right up on their commander, not really paying too much attention. Regenerate with her is absolutely useless. For an assassin character, you cannot run, you cannot roll, you cannot walk onto anybody. You have to be out of combat walking. So now that means if, in this case, we are playing Breach, that means you are one less character that your team does not have. That means right now they're getting ganked and getting outnumbered because you're standing in the back using Regenerate. Now, Regenerate is good if you are either pulling the cauldron or you're up on the point, the ramparts, making sure that those don't get taken. Or if you're trying to push them, for that matter. Regenerate could be good for that, since you are standing around and waiting to capture the point. But in 9 out of 10 times, you're going to get that at the end where you're going to be fighting the commander. There's really no good time to use Regenerate in that particular sense. So, Berserker, that could be a good one, but Infection, in my opinion, is too good not to pass up, not to use, in my personal opinion. So, those are the feats that I use. The perks that I use on her would be Devour, Endurance, and Headhunter. Again, Devour and Endurance, the more stamina, the more health I get back. Also, Devour stacks on Bounty Hunter, so that's pretty much healing me instantly, plus the effects of a Headhunter. So, all that's good for me to use to keep on pushing forward. Now, let's go ahead and jump right on over to her moveset. Up on the screen, you will see the actual moves from the hero tactics that the game wants to teach you and kind of progress through the Nuxia a little bit. But I will talk about the hero specifics of the Nuxia while you're all watching that and then learning everything about that. So, traps. Traps are moves that only hit opponents who are blocking or who are performing a block, superior, block, deflect, or parry. Traps do not work on block/parry reaction, the full block/all parry gained after a successful block or parry, respectively. So the initiation. Traps are initiated by pressing, since we're on PS4, which is going to be square, which is the guard break button, during the startup of any heavy attack or zone attack. The trap effect, when successful, the target of the trap will be pinned briefly, damage will be dealt, and they will be knocked back. If struck with the Jade Ballet, the target will not be knocked back, instead be pinned for a longer and dealt increased damage. Jade Ballet is going from your zone attack into the trap, is what that is. Trap with recovery. If Nuxia trap misses, Nuxia can chain a light attack, counted as the second light in Song and Moon. Chain starters. Any of the following moves can replace the first strike in Song of Moon, which would be the Crescent Jab, Crescent Step, which is your dodge light or dodge heavy. Goddess Splits, Echo Strike, Mirror Raid, and Glass Waltz. So all that can be pretty much what that is saying is that no matter what you do, if you get a deflect, if you get a parry, if you're doing a dodge light, a dodge heavy, it does not matter. You can always go back into her Song of the Moon fight, which is pretty much she can do light, heavy, heavy, light. It doesn't matter. She can combine light and heavy in any way, shape, or form. And that's pretty much what that is saying there. So the heavy finisher manipulation. Successful hits with a heavy finisher moves your opponent. Left heavy finishers will move them to the right. Top heavy finishers will move them behind you. And right finishers will move them to the left. Now keep that in mind if you're trying to let somebody or if you're trying to get them into the wall. If you get them into the wall, you are guaranteed a top heavy, or anything like that. So kind of keep that in mind. Your zone attack cancel. You can replace any hit in Song of the Moon with a zone attack to end the chain. Zone attack can be replaced or can be canceled into J Ballet, or canceled by pressing the feint button, which would be circle. Defense reflex, which I've already talked about this. Your guard stands still and remains active for a limited amount of time. She does have a deflect, which by dodging in the direction of the incoming attack just before impact, deflect can be followed up with an echo strike. Then revenge mode, boost damage and health. All attacks are uninterruptible. Parry and throws knock down enemies. Attacks are auto parried on activation. And since she is an assassin character, her renown is only earned. She earns more by killing or by fighting in 1v1 fights, or by killing enemy heroes and getting kill streaks to unlock her feats in a match. So that's everything pretty much about the Nuxia, but with her feats, from going from her feats to her perks to how to actually use her. Now, a lot of the times, what you'll see is a lot of people go into this and just spam light attacks, light. In this particular case, I do like to use light attacks as one that they don't do a lot of damage up front. I'll be perfectly honest with you on that. A lot of the times, if you get to a person that is decent at parrying lights, then you kind of try to mix it up a little bit. Feint a couple things, throw in a trap or two. One of the things that I really like to do is I like to use people that, the Warden for an example, I like to use their crushing counter to my advantage. So I will favor, the top. So I'll go, maybe in this case I'll go light heavy, and then I would feint the last heavy into the trap, making the opponent think that I want to let that last heavy follow through, and they're going to get the crushing counter on top of that, and that's one of the things that I would have to say with the Nuxia that you have to do. You have to keep in mind of what the player's kits have available. The Highlander is like the Warden, but instead of the top, he has it on all sides, so you can kind of mix and match a little bit more with the Highlander. The Warlord, he has his all guard stance. From that you can definitely go right into a trap and get him out of that boom. Now you're on the aggressive, and that's one of the things that she can do pretty quickly, is go right into the Song of the Moon, which gives you the aggressive standpoint that you need to be able to play as the Nuxia. And that's one of the things that I would say is definitely, as an assassin, be aggressive with her. She can definitely dish out the damage if you can stay on the aggressive and keep tricking your opponents. There's been times that I've wiped out the whole team just by doing, light heavy, feint the last heavy into whatever, or it just makes it depends on the situation that you're dealing with. A lot of the times you can manhandle almost anybody in the game if you're quick enough. And that's just something that, you just gotta get good in the mind games. You gotta get good at the traps that she can throw. A lot of the times, what I really like to do is I like to go into the Jade Ballet, which is that zone attack. So you can go light zone attack, feint that into the trap. 9 out of 10 times, a lot of people are going to go for that parry attempt because her zone attack is very, very slow, has a very big wind up on it. You can see it coming. So hopefully that's a lot of the tips and tricks for the Nuxia. And hopefully I answered a lot of questions, comments, concerns. There's not a lot of Nuxias out there, and there's a lot of reasons why. There's some Nuxias that are definitely not out on the battlefield. But with all that being said and done, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.